The film starts with a couple in between nowhere. The man is proposing to the woman, and there's a cameraman miles away shooting the incident. He fails to do it the first time, and the next time someone kills him with a bow. The killer then goes and kills the groom as well. The bride runs and hides and gets a shot on her leg. She runs to a warehouse and asks for the keeper's help, but the killer kills him immediately. She hides inside a water tank but gets brutally smashed. This is the hard-eyed serial killer who has been killing couples on Valentine's Day for the last 2 years. It is Valentine's Day again, and Allie is stalking her ex-boyfriend's Instagram, who has moved on. Her friend Monica arrives and asks if she is sad for being single on the day. However, Allie is worried about the office meeting. She gets to grab her personalized coffee, but another guy has ordered the same coffee, which is interesting for both of them. They start chatting a bit, and after a little bit of awkward conversation, she runs out to her office. She works at a jewelry company, and for this year's Valentine's Day, she has made a really creepy advertisement that is hated by the people. The manager says she will be fired after 6 months and introduces the new worker, who is none other than the guy she met at the coffee shop. His name is Jay. Jay tells them that they will get through this together. On the crime scene, the two detectives Hobbs and Shaw are investigating the case. They confirm it is the work of the hard-eyes killer since the photographer's camera had captured his last footage. Later, Jay meets Allie and asks her to go out to dinner with him. Allie accepts it only because she considers it to be for work purposes. Monica helps her find the dress for the date, and she reaches there on time. Although Jay is late when he arrives, she is kind of awestruck by his demeanor. As Jay constantly tries to talk about personal stuff and get going romantically, Allie tries to keep the conversation formal and talk about work. Eventually, she gets mad at him and flashes. Jay stands up and starts to get going. Allie, realizing her fault, runs behind him and apologizes. He says it's okay and doesn't want to indulge much, but the moment she sees her ex coming, she kisses him immediately. They see each other, and Allie and Jay introduce themselves as a couple. As they part, we see the hard-eyes killer keeping an eye on them. Jay and Allie take the cab home. As Allie reaches her apartment, she realizes she has forgotten the key somewhere, and understanding the situation, Jay approaches her, and they decide to break in. Jay asks her to let him do it, but he cuts off his hand. Allie takes him to the room and caresses the wound. She had once studied nursing but could not do it for longer since she was sensitive to blood, but this time she is doing it really well. Meanwhile, she goes to her cupboard and finds the hard-eyes killer hiding. She screams and shuts it off, but the killer throws her off. Jay fights with the killer, defending Allie. Allie protects him back, and they run out of the room. They shut the door with the belt, but the killer is not to be stopped. They run down, and the killer kills the cab driver. She screams that they are not even a couple and he should kill someone else, but the killer doesn't listen. As they run, the killer gets a hold of Allie, and trying to fight him, Jay gets attacked and falls unconscious. Allie runs and hides in the park, in between the horse rides. She tries to hold on from the attack of the killer as much as possible, but when she can't run anymore, the police arrive. She asks them to find Jay, but they don't know where he is. Soon, one of the cops gets the news that they've caught the killer, and it is Jay. As Allie runs to protect him, Jay is angry, saying that she has abandoned him. Allie can do nothing about it, and the cops take him away. The detectives start interrogating Jay, but there is nothing informative they get. Hobbs gets angry at him, and Shaw defends and decides to ask questions herself. Allie is at the police station, constantly trying to convince the officers at the front desk that Jay cannot be the killer. They don't listen to her much, and they are about to leave. One of the colleagues asks her out right then and there, but she says that she has just almost been murdered. The guy leaves, and she is all alone and feels eerie. Shaw tries to use the seduction technique to make him confess. Meanwhile, Allie takes the American flag as a shield to protect her. She is met by the detective and the officer, and they decide not to let go of them yet. As they are talking, the power suddenly goes out. The officer turns on the flashlight and gets immediately killed. The hard-eyes killer is there. Allie hides and runs and comes across Shaw. The killer walks in, and Shaw shoots at them. Hearing this, Hobbs goes to check it, leaving Jay chained. The killer brutally kills Hobbs. Allie gets to the interrogation room and is able to communicate with him from the outside. Jay says she has to find the keys. As Allie is trying to find the key, the killer is already inside. Although chained in one hand, Jay gives a good fight with the killer, but he is on the downside. Allie barges in and shoots the window, breaking it from the outside. She shoots at the killer but misses it all, and they run away. Allie and Jay get out of the station, and she gets to stop the car. Jay, realizing she won't make it, takes her off the street. They are onto one another and try to kiss, but the killer comes out. She screams out once again that they are not a couple. They run once again and find themselves in between a couple's park where everyone is celebrating watching a romance movie. The killer is there. Everybody is shocked and doubtful whether it is the killer. He comes across one guy and stabs him to death. Jay and Allie find themselves inside a van where there is a couple behind making love. They ask them to quiet down and get back to laying low. They finally start talking about one another as the movie plays in front of them. As they chat, the couple behind them starts being louder, having sex. They try to calm them down, but the killer barges in and brutally murders them both. Chaos breaks in, and the killer kills many more people. Jay and Allie run, but Allie suddenly decides that they will stop the killer since they are the ones who have brought them into this crowd, and he will keep killing countless people. They call the killer towards them and grab the weapon with which the killer murdered the couple. Jay fights with the killer once again but gets beaten brutally and blacks out. And as he is about to kill him, Allie comes from behind and hits them in the head. They bleed out but grabs her by the throat. Finally, Jay stabs the huge sword from behind him, killing him. It is just a random guy they don't know anything about. The police come and say that they will be famous soon. Detective Shaw comes in, and as Jay asks her for his phone, she says that she will give him a ride home. Allie says goodbye to Jay and he leaves in Shaw's car. Later, at her home, as Allie is sad, Monica calls her and orders her to chase him, otherwise she will miss out on finding love. Allie listens to her and goes towards the airport but doesn't find him. A call comes in her phone and they say that they have abducted Jay. If she doesn't go to save him herself alone, they will kill him. Allie runs to the place and finds Jay being tied up with the hard eyes killer behind him. He opens his mask and it is the guy whom she met at the police station. He is not alone. There is Detective Shaw as well. They are the couple who separately kill couples on Valentine's Day. They consider it as their kink. The one who Jay and Allie killed at the parking lot was just a fan of them volunteering in the killing spree. They start acting weird and give Allie a chance. They give her a gun with only one bullet and ask her to prove her love for Jay. If she kills her, she will be saved or she can kill him. Allie gives an emotional speech and points the gun on her own head. Jay screams out to her, but she immediately shoots at him, pointing it at Shaw. Shaw is shot and the guy goes to save her as Allie goes to save Jay. They run, and the guy shoots at them but misses. Shaw is still alive and chases them with the sword. The guy takes Jay away as Shaw gets hold of her. As the guy asks Jay to look at Allie dying, he brings out his bow from the pocket and stabs him in the eyes. He falls and warm wax falls onto him as he screams in pain. Shaw punches Allie down and is about to kill her, but Allie stabs her in the throat with the steel straw that she always keeps with herself for coffee since she is health and environment conscious. As Allie walks towards injured Jay, Shaw gets up again and goes to kill her, but Allie throws her to the statue of the Valentine and she is pierced through the statue's sword. Her hanging body also makes her fall dead decapitated. Allie and Jay are finally reunited, but the guy once again comes in like a zombie. Jay uses the bow and arrow and shoots him dead. A year later, the company is celebrating a sales success and they are both happy in the company. Allie and Jay return to the same parking lot. He proposes to her with a key to ask her to move in with him, and Allie brings out a ring to propose to him to marry her. He agrees, and they kiss. Hard Eyes is yet another movie about a serial killer that follows a similar pattern to 1,000 other movies, with the only usual exception which is its premise. A killer killing couples on Valentine's Day. The writing is good, with its portrayal of messy lives in the modern day trying to function in romantic relationships. The performances are okayish. The characters are a little bit of fun. Some of the jokes land well. The character of Shaw is particularly impressive and unique, with everything else falling into the cliche. Overall, the film is watchable if we can shut off our brains, and it kind of falls behind most other great horror comedies like the Scream franchise, and we give it 2.5 stars. So that was the video. For more explained and recap videos like this, stay subscribed to the channel. And if you have liked this video, you may also like this.